All right. So today we have Paul from Esk8Shop.com. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, so Esk8Shop.com. And actually, we're doing an episode as well for my podcast, Esk8 Shop Podcast today. Thank you for joining us, Eskater.
I'm glad to be with you, Paul.
Absolutely, man. This is really exciting for me. You've been doing a lot of the YouTube channels and a lot of these live hangouts and things like this. I think it's exciting for the industry to see somebody kind of diving into this in the way that you have, where now you do run an e-skate store as well, right?
Well, yes, in fact, you run Esk8Shop.com and I run Esk8Store.com. Basically, we're just using it to sell our Esk8 UK hoodies, electric skateboard club stickers, just apparel, and all my used boards that I've been doing in the reviews. The ones that
Gotcha.
I need to get rid of, I'm getting rid of them through there.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. A nice avenue for somebody to come and pick up some of that stuff that I doubt we're going to see you on a Meepo board anytime soon or another land wheel out here every
The
day, huh?
Meeple board has sold. The land wheel, however, it's difficult for me to shift that board now, you know. So if anyone in the UK is looking for a land wheel, I can't recommend them, but it's going cheap, you know.
Excuse me. That's hilarious. It's got to be tough when you're being honest about them with everybody, and then you want to like get money back for them, right? Because they already know what those pitfalls are in them.
Well,
But you would not
that's
recommend a
definitely true,
pinwheel to
Paul.
anyone.
And I do see a lot of e-skates. I see a lot of e-skate reviews on YouTube, and I feel like people are over positive, you know. All these boards aren't that great. A few of them are good, but if a few of them are good, then some of them have not got to be, not very good. So I'd love to see more e-skate reviews where people are honest and say if a board isn't good or say what's wrong with it, you know?
Right, right. It's tough, man. I come out of the automotive world and automotive performance background, and like there, it's mostly hate. It's mostly people make reviews hating on the other guy's stuff, right? Or all about all the pitfalls of why you don't buy a WRX or whatever car we're talking about. You are right, man. Most of the e-skate reviews, it's hard to find somebody talking poorly about a board, right? And I get it because most guys reviewing them, they
They've
bought
just
them.
bought
It's
it.
their board.
Exactly. It's difficult when you only have a few boards and you feel affinity to the board. But, I'm going through enough boards here that I don't really care. If I like a board, I'll be honest and I'll say I like it. And if I don't like it, I'm just going to come out with it, you know?
Yeah. How did you get started doing these reviews? Why did you decide to start making a YouTube channel?
Well, I actually started last year on a different channel, on my own channel. And I started making videos with the first board I ever got was a bench wheel. Do you know that board? It's been renamed as a lift board in the US.
There you go. That's what I've heard it referred to as. Yeah.
Well, last year it was saying as a bench wheel in the US. And my buddy Jordan Hauser in, I think it's Colorado, but I'm not quite sure. He set up acceleratedskate.com and he was selling those bench wheels in the US for a little while. So I got a bench wheel and I started making some movies with the bench wheel. I started watching his movies, so my movies were maybe a little bit similar to his to start with.
Sure.
But I had a lot of fun with the bench wheel. But pretty soon I realized, it just wasn't as good as some of the other boards out there. I only went 14 miles an hour, and I could see movies of other guys going a lot faster. So when I started getting new boards, I thought, I don't want to mix things up with my old channel, which was a lot of drones and other things. I wanted to have something, dedicated to e-skate that just, it was obvious when you came to the channel, this channel was about e-skate, you know?
Right.
Right. I didn't want to confuse things. So then I just started up the e-skater channel, and then every board I ended up getting, I would just review.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So in London, what was that like? Were you like one of the first guys to really be out e-skating in London or making reviews in London, or was there already kind of a scene going on there?
I think there was maybe one or two other guys, Yeah, I'd watch their videos. Some of them were really, shaky selfie stick stuff. But yeah, there wasn't very much going on this time last year in London.
Yeah.
Um, I remember I did a video going over Tower Bridge in 360. And yeah, people would write me up on that saying, wow, I can't believe there's, boosted boards, or that's what they knew back then in London.
Hey, real quick, I got to make sure we don't lose power here, but Of course, I apologize. My cables are all over the place. It's Sunday. The wife was just out here cleaning. I think we'll be okay. Really what it comes down to is like when you're one of the first guys, it's hard to get some of those other early adopters on board. So like, what are the guys who are seeing an electric skateboard for the first time? What kind of questions do they ask you?
They ask me two questions all the time. First of all, they say, is it electric? Second of all, they say, how much does it cost? Right? So if anyone's in an electric skateboard club on Facebook, we're actually coming out with a new t-shirt for Electric Skateboard Club, which is going to have the logo on the front, and on the back it's going to say, yes, it's electric, $1,500.
Now, you've been a big proponent of your Evolve. So can you tell me why you like that board or why that one stuck around? It seems like the longest throughout all of your movies.
That's right, Paul. I like it myself, and I've even customized it now with some grip tape. I got some grip tape, and I cut out the circle for Evolve, and I put some gold paint on it. I like that one because of the trucks. The trucks are double kingpin, and they're super good for carving. And it's quite a long board, which I'm quite tall, actually, so I like a bit of a wide stance just to keep my balance. And also the battery. I mean, I've got my boosted board. I rode my boosted board down Oxford Street today, actually. But the battery on it, when I'm going on a longer journey, I just don't want to have to worry about that boosted board battery, you know? And that's why I don't take the boosted out.
I mean, it makes sense. It's further distance, right? How do you like the difference? Because you run yours with the all-terrain wheels pretty often, I see. Do you like those better than the boosted?
Well, for London, there's a lot of cobblestones and cracks in the road. It's not as good roads as in the US. I'm actually doing a video right now on the new ABEC 107s from Evolve. And in that video, I'm going to show how badly my kegels have been ripped up with just a month's journeying around the streets of London. The kegels really are just splitting and lots of urethane coming off them. So you really want a bigger tire. You really want the 107 or a minimum 97, and you probably want something that's not going to crack too quickly. I prefer street, but you know, AT works really well for around here.
Gotcha. Okay, so, but you do like the street wheels better. Is there a reason for that?
They're just faster. They feel better. You can do a little bit of sliding. I just prefer them, you know?
Okay, I gotcha. Now, were you into skateboarding for a long time before you jumped on an electric skateboard, or like was this like an easy transition for you, or were you kind of nervous when you first got started with them?
So I've only been skating for about a year and a little bit, okay? And I've actually got another series on my other channel called Learn to Skate at 30. So I started skating when I was 30. And it's a little bit intimidating, you know, going out to the skate park and you're a big guy, you turn up with the skateboard. My skateboard's, you know, it's obviously got independent trucks, nice wheels, Bones wheels, everything. They look at me and they expect me to be a really good skater, you know? And when I'm struggling to do, you know, a good ollie or something like this, it's a little bit embarrassing. But I'm getting better, so it's not so much of a problem anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, I know I skated when I was a kid, and then it had been 10 years since I stepped on a board. And like, of course, the first board I step on again after 10 years is an electric one. And it took a minute to get back into the swing. Like moving 20 miles an hour is nothing I was ever used to, you know, on a board. So definitely that first weekend when I sprained my elbow and crashed 4 or 5 times, and I rode the board into a telephone pole, and I banged it up pretty good, like right off the bat, just being cocky. Do you wear full gear? I know you wear the helmet and everything, but like, do you wear the full safety pads and all of that when you ride all the time, or usually not?
It's 50-50. I try to, you know, I have landed on my pads a few times and I've been really glad I was wearing them. So it's good if you can, but you know, sometimes you forget, and I'm not strict about it. On our rides in the UK, I try and tell people to wear helmets and pads, but we don't enforce it strictly, you know?
All right. How are the group rides going? That seems to be a growing trend that I'm seeing. Pretty much all of the major cities are getting more and more people to show up to the group rides. How many people showed up to your guys' first group ride?
So, I mean, I think I have our first ride on YouTube, and it was one of the first, I think it was the second ever ride in London. The first ever ride, I just turned up and we met everybody. I was a little bit worried about taking my camera the first time and putting everyone on camera. But the second ride, we recorded it all. And yeah, I was watching the skate scene in New York City, you know, to Sean's videos.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there's a lot of the same people. There's a lot of Americans even working in London. There's a lot of Australians. So I thought maybe we can set something similar up here. But you're right. The first rides, it started off small. But over the course of a short time, maybe 3-4 months, things have really got a lot more popular. So we started off with maybe 6-7 guys. You know, now we can easily get 20-30. It's much better now. And hopefully we'll go towards where you guys are in New York. It just may take a year, you know. The UK is maybe, in a lot of things, the UK is like a year behind the US.
Right. All right. Hey, man, I'm out in the Midwest. Like, if I could find 2 more guys with boards to go and ride with, like, outside of Chicago, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'm an hour-and-a-half train ride into the city to go ride with those guys on Tuesdays. And as you can imagine, like, now it's winter. You had mentioned it's dark here at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure.
So it brings up riding at night. Now, obviously, I sell Shred Lights, and I've interviewed Eric over there, the founder of Shred Lights. You guys ride quite a bit at night out there, don't you?
Yeah. We're friends with Eric as well, and we also use Shred Lights.
Okay. Do you guys, I mean, have you found like a lot more dangerous activity at night? Is like a lot more close calls, getting hit by cars or anything like that? Or is it like, to me, I love riding at night. I think it's literally just more fun.
It makes, well, the good things about riding at night is we can shoot a great video with all the lights, right? London is a lot less cars during the night because everyone comes into work and goes out at night. And the bad thing about riding at night, though, is in the UK, it's seriously cold at nights now. You know, you got to wear gloves, you got to wear full face mask almost. It's just so cold. That's the problem. But it's pretty safe. It's pretty safe.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Not a lot. It's funny because as I've talked to some of guys like around here in different cities in the US, I get different reports on that. Like the guys in Chicago, it's still sketchy at night. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gotten hit, you know, thank God, by a car at this point, but it's definitely, everybody's a little bit more on edge. There's not as many guys willing to ride wide open throttle the whole trip, you know, things like that. So there's some fluctuation there. I caught in your boosted and evolve video, you said it really comes down to what the viewer is specifically looking for about which one they like better. You had mentioned for battery range, you definitely like taking out the evolve. What situations do you like the boosted board better?
Well, the boosted, it's shorter, it's easier to carry. And I think, you know, it looks less, when you turn up with the evolve, it's just a bigger structure. When you're just going out to meet friends and they're not riding boards, it's easier just to carry around the boosted, you know. The boosted's more practical for a lot of city situations.
Okay. Okay. What about, like, because they're both belt drive, are there any hub motor boards that you like?
Well, I'd like the Raptor if Jason would get me mine faster, but I have tried it. If it was just a bit more available, I'd be loving it more. But yeah, it's a good board. I like the Raptor. The inboard was pretty good. I felt like the battery on the inboard could have been a little bit longer. You know, they could. I think in today's battery technology, they should be able to produce a better battery. And the hubs were clearly not as strong as the boosted board going up the hill or top speed, but the inboard had a solid performance. And if it just had a bit more power and battery, it would be a great board. It looks great and the technology is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there are some huge advantages. I think the inboard's going to be a big one here in the future. I do think we're going to have to see a version 2 in that line to really get them up to where the rest of the kind of top of the line boards are at.
Yeah.
What do you think's the worst board you've ridden so far?
The land wheel. It didn't even work. Well, it did work, but that was the frustrating thing. It worked a little bit, so I'd go shoot my movie and then it'd stop working. And I didn't even know if I'd make a movie out of that, but then I just decided, right, we're just going to shoot whatever happens, you know? If this thing doesn't work, we'll just shoot it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's honest reporting, right? I mean, that's what happened is you took it up and it didn't work. How about before that, though? That's a pretty recent one. How about before you did the land wheel? What was like the worst board that maybe wasn't just because it wasn't working, right?
Well, it would actually be on my other channel, and it would be the lift board. So that board broke down. I had to fix it a few times. Lift board stroke bench wheel. I think it's got a few different names. Um, but the same board with the same panel going down, the metal panel going down the middle, and the same Chinese hub motors, sorry, belt motors, the same Chinese belt motor drive. That system, it just couldn't get any speed, and it seemed to have a lot of mechanical resistance in the belt drive. So the belt drive wasn't good. The control section just wasn't it wasn't screwed down properly. They could have put more screws in there. They could have put some padding, some more like plastic, just to stop things bumping around. Because I watched some of the other guys who bought bench wheels because the number of people on YouTube who had bench wheels was like 5, and we all knew each other. We were the bench wheel guys, and at least 2 of us or 3 of us were fixing our bench wheels within 3 months.
Right, right. I got you there. Cool, man. What do you see in the future for the Esk8 community? What do you think is the next big thing we're all going to be talking about?
Well, I think bigger wheels are going to be popular. I think bigger batteries, obviously, as the price comes down. Um, and obviously hub motors, probably be some stronger hub motors catching up with the sort of Raptor hub motors coming out of China. I know the Mipu hub motors are quite strong, but they're not necessarily that high quality. The PU isn't replaceable. Generally, you just replace the motor once in a while. But maybe some of the other hub motors from China will be stronger. I think as far as boosted goes, we're going to have to see a better battery from them. It's more like what each company needs to do to keep in the game kind of thing, I mean,
Right.
Inboard, we've just said, needs a bigger battery, stronger hubs, right? Boosted needs a bigger battery, and they need to get it out soon because I think even in the US, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but even in the US, this battery issue must be kind of draining on people. They must be looking at other brands for this battery issue just to get range.
Well, other brands or upgrades. There is a guy out there, Joshua Betancourt, who does the boosted box, which is like an additional battery you can wire in. There's a lot of DIY guys who are putting their own batteries and running them in parallel with the boosted. That's something that I'm really excited about is the modification market. And that's what the other thing I wanted to kind of ask you about is, have you noticed anybody over there in London who's taking OEM boards and then modifying them to their own personal specs?
Yes, we have some friends in Eastgate, UK, and the biggest market right now is modifying the Evolve boards. Because you've got a bigger enclosure on an Evolve board than a boosted board, you can easily modify it and fit a new battery in that works with the BMS. I don't think Evolve are not particularly happy with that, and they've given some reasons why you shouldn't do that. So if you're thinking about it, you should probably check that out as well, to be fair. But a lot of people are upgrading their Evolves. There's not a lot of boosted upgrades happening over here. I must admit, I've not seen any yet. But maybe that's what the market needs, is someone to come up, upgrade boosted boards over here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a big thing, right? Because like you said, a lot of guys look at this that they get $1,500, $2,000 into a board by the time it's shipped to their door, and then they're not happy with something about it. And like again, automotive world, that's totally normal. Like we expect to buy a $60,000 diesel truck and then go and drop, another 10, 15 grand into modifications in it. So like for a board, it just seems to make a lot of sense to me that I'm going to buy something that's great, that was like mass manufactured for everybody. And then I'm going to figure out the little things I want to change about it to kind of make it mine, which it seems like you're already playing with like the aesthetics of it, right? You've put some lights on your board. Like you said, you got some custom grip tape and a little bit of kind of customization there. But I think the next thing is going to be power, seeing guys upgrade their motors, seeing guys upgrade their batteries, things of that nature.
I had thought of doing a bit of that, Paul. I had thought of doing some DIY videos. I'm just worried about, I think a lot of the growth in Eastgate, I'll be honest, I think is going to come from people that just want to buy things like Apple phones. And I mean, obviously me and you, we might want to customize our board, make it better, add bigger motors, but we're probably really into it. We're the top 20% or 10% that are really into it. I think most of the market, they just want to buy consumer products that don't break down very, very easily for the cheapest price. You know what I mean?
That seems to make a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. Hey, I didn't want to like run out too much time here. We want to do a quick episode today. Is there anybody you would like to give a shout out to?
Well, obviously, as I said earlier, I'll shout out to Tishawn in New York, making great e-skate videos over there. And I'd shout out to the Evolve crew in the UK. They've been great friends on our rides. And to the Esk8 UK crew, which is who I ride with every week.
Awesome. And if any of our listeners want to find out more information about you or follow up more on your channel or maybe even get in contact with you, how can you be reached?
So just go to, well, you can either come into Facebook Electric Skateboard Club, and you can see Eskater, or check out my YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/eskater, which is ESK8R.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Eskater. Straight out of London, man.
It's been a pleasure, Paul. Good night from London.
Thanks. Bye-bye.